Hello, everybody. My name is Bob Ewoldt. I am a solutions architect for Ntiva Incorporated, based out of Virginia, near the Washington, D.C. area. And today I want to talk to you about the CMMC compliance roadmap. What does it take to get from when you start the compliance process to when you are certified to work for the DoD? Um, I know that a lot of the clients that I work with there's a little bit of um, hesitancy as to the process. Some people think that you get the gap assessment and do a couple of things and then you're compliant, right? But the but a lot of times there's a lot more that goes into it, um, and I want to set some expectations for you as a government contractor as to what will need to be done to become compliant and remain compliant um, in the CMMC um, arena. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to just do a little bit of review. I don't want to spend too much time on this as it is as it's review for most people, and it's not the point of this particular video. This particular video, I want to just put together a roadmap that you can look at and you can say, where are we on this roadmap? But first of all, what is CMMC compliance and who needs to be certified? So CMMC stands for the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, and it's the latest security framework that the Department of Defense in the United States has mandated for any contractor that sells into the DoD. And it specifies a range of security maturity levels that must be met and will be used by the DoD as qualification criterion for RFPs and vendor selection. So IT security has always been kind of a hot topic for DoD vendors, and over the last few years, the DoD has put out different requirements. Now, there's three different levels of maturity in this model, and it actually went from 5 to 3. I think in 2020 there were 5, and then DoD reviewed it and said, "Hey, this is too complicated. We're going to combine a couple of these so that's at 3 different levels." So level 1 is foundational, level 2 is advanced, and level 3 is expert. And it applies to different kinds of companies based upon the programs that they're involved with at the DoD, and what kind of information that they maintain or have access to. So if you're a government contractor and you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, what level do I need to be at? Here's a quick overview of who needs to be at which level. So the first level, foundational level, are DoD contractors and subcontractors that handle federal contract information, FCI. So that's just sensitive but not classified information that is involved with the Department of Defense contracts. Level 2, the advanced level, are DoD contractors and subcontractors that handle CUI, which is controlled unclassified information, and are considered part of the critical infrastructure. Level 3, the expert level, is similar to level 2 in that they handle CUI as well for DoD programs, but these are companies that handle CUI in the most sensitive or higher security assurance programs of the DoD contracts. So you're dealing with a much higher level of program within the DoD, and you need to have that higher level of certification. Now, let's get to what this video is about, which is the CMMC compliance roadmap. So I put together this handy dandy little roadmap that I'm going to walk you through here real quick. Gives you 6 steps along the roadmap to kind of gauge where you're at in the process. Now, the first step is to develop a plan. And you might not know all the details of the plan, but you can develop a timeline and an initial budget. Now, the budget can balloon very easily when it comes to CMMC compliance or remediation. But at the very beginning, you may find out, hey, this is how much we need to budget for a gap assessment. All right, and then after the gap assessment is done, then you can review again, and you can say, okay, now we can set our budget for all of the remediation items. So you're going to create a plan, develop a timeline, an initial budget, and you're going to assign a team to oversee the process. Now, a lot of companies are choosing to outsource this compliance process, starting with a gap assessment and then remediation. Um, but they have to have someone internal to the company that kind of oversees it and drives it, right? So you're going to assign a team to oversee the whole process. The second step is your self-assessment, your initial self-assessment. A gap assessment, um, you can call it a self-assessment, you can call it a gap assessment, is the first foundational step to get an understanding of how close you are to the target, and the target being compliance, CMMC compliance. How close are you? What needs to be done? And um, gap assessment, you're going to be creating what's called a POAM, a plan of action and milestones, is going to be created out of that gap assessment. Um, you're also going to create what's called an SSP, which is a systems security plan. Um, so you're going to take all of your systems and you're going to develop a plan for securing them, right? So you're going to have your remediation plan, which is your plan of action and milestones, and your system security plan, which comes out of that gap assessment. Now, once you're done with your gap assessment, then you're going to move into the remediation phase. So that's step 3, remediation. So you're going to take your plan of action and milestones, and you're going to prioritize it in and make it into actionable steps to address all of your security gaps. And this could be hundreds of things. It could be you need to reconfigure firewalls, you need to reconfigure switches, you need to update old server equipment or update old server operating systems, or you need to move some things to the cloud, you need to introduce MFA to certain systems, you need to air gap certain systems that cannot be updated, or you need to have some applications that need to be migrated to the cloud so they can be more secure. Um, there could be one of the big things as part of the remediation is to create policies. So you might have user access policies or password policies or any number of different types of policies that need to be created um, as part of this remediation. So you have technical controls and policy controls and management controls that are going to be put into place to remediate those things on your plan of action and milestones, that POAM. Then once you've done, so the remediation task is probably the largest and the heaviest lift of all the steps of this process. The fourth step, after that's done, then you do a readiness assessment. So you're reassessing, you're doing another gap assessment to make sure that all of the gaps in your security have been closed. All right. And that's for your own information. So that's not the audit. That's just making sure before you go out and hire a third party audit firm, you want to make sure everything's right. Okay. Then once you have that second gap assessment done, then you're going to go out and you're going to find a third-party assessor organization, a C3PAO, to do the actual certification audit on your company. So they come in, they look at your plan, they look at your SSP, they look at all the remediation you've done, they look at all the policies you've created, and they say yes or they say no, or they say here are the things that are still lacking, go fix them. So then you can kind of go back to that remediation again and correct some more things as part of that certification audit. But at the end of the day, once you're certified, you send that to the DoD and you are able to do business. You're able to be a vendor for the DoD. But that doesn't mean that your compliance roadmap stops there. Then you have your maintenance. You have your maintenance step, and that is optimizing and improving your systems over time on an ongoing basis, continually. There's going to be new vulnerabilities that are going to come out, new applications that you want to use, applications that need to be updated, systems that need to be updated, employees that need to be trained, and you do that all on an ongoing basis. So you're maintaining, you're continually improving so that when you do a self-assessment the next year or you have another audit, you are able to pass those things and remain a DoD contractor. I hope this short video has helped you guys to understand the different things that you need to do, the roadmap to get to compliance for CMMC and to be a DoD contractor. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. You can DM me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to help you. I can hook you up with our security team at Ntiva, and we can start the process. I know that there's going to be audits and certifications that are going to be required starting, I believe, second, third quarter of this year. So if you haven't started your compliance process yet, now's the time to start, because otherwise you're going to lose your ability to work with the DoD. Thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.